Hey Facebook fam, I'm back again with another video I wanted to share with you all. Just something real quick that I was doing my daily prayer meditation, and I was just asking God, in prayer, it's just like, what are some, because I feel like I'm at a place, and everything that I share, like I said, I'm very transparent. I don't feel like I have anything to hide, because I'm just at a point in my life where wherever I feel like I'm struggling or having questions or doubt in or whatever, that clearly there has to be someone else out there that's dealing with the same thing too. So just real quick, I was just in there asking God, I'm starting to see things are starting to unfold, and I'm starting to go to different levels and things, and everything that people go through, it doesn't have to be broadcast, but as long as you know, and that's cool. But anyway, so just starting to experience different things that's going on in my life, and it's just like I'm just so thirsty now, to where I'm just like, I'm thirsting for the next thing. I'm thirsting for the next opportunity to bless someone. I'm thirsty for the next thing to learn and to grow individually, as a person, to better me, so that I can, be able to bless someone else. So just real quick, I was just asking God, what are some ways in which I can grow, or what are some things that people are doing or not doing, and the reason why it keeps them stuck, or it feels like as if they can't grow. So just real quick, I want to share with you 5 things that I was kind of brainstorming on as to why, some of us are stuck. We don't want to grow, or we're not growing where we need to be in life. We're not getting any younger. Life is not going to get any easier. We have to make things starting to happen for ourselves, especially if we have kids. They are depending on us, and I'm at a point in my life where I want to be so established where I can leave my kids with something, my grandkids with something. So it's like my mindset is not just on the superficial day-to-day job, going to work, getting a check, getting through the season, getting through life. I really want to live, and live abundantly, not just for me, but for others, and also for my kids. So I'm just at this place where I constantly just want to grow. So I was just asking God, and I was just thinking, like, what are some reasons as to why we, are not growing. And so I'm just going to share with you 5 of them that I thought of. The first one is, I don't even have my glasses on, but the first one is the reason why I think that we're not growing is because I'm real big on this, is that we don't know, or we have not figured out what our purpose is in life. We don't know what our purpose is. So without a purpose, you don't have a vision. You don't have anything to focus and aim for. So you're just pretty much on a hamster wheel, going through the robotic phase of life that it brings. Getting up, going to work, paying the bills, taking care of the kids, doing the bare minimum of day in and day out. Every now and again, you may have a moment where you splurge and do this and that. But for the most part, you don't have a purpose. You do have a purpose, but you don't know what that purpose is. And sometimes, even if you do know what the purpose is, you're refusing to act upon it. So it's keeping you stuck, and you're just playing the field, playing it safe in that comfort zone. So you're not able to grow and evolve. So that's the first thing. And this is not in any particular order. It's just what I was thinking about. But that's the first thing I think, is that we don't know our life's purpose. And like I said, even if we do know what our purpose is, we know what our purpose is. And when I think about purpose to me is when I think about it, it's a problem that you were designed and was born to solve. So when you really think about, if you're not fulfilling your purpose, what God created you for, what you're here for, you're pretty much hindering yourself, and also you're hindering someone else. You may be the answer to someone else's prayer. I say that a lot, but it's true. I just feel like, when God created us, He had a purpose for us in mind. We were not accidents. It wasn't a mistake while we're here, and it's a reason why we're here. So that purpose is that we have, that lies on the inside of us, is that it's pretty much we are the answer to the problem, and that's why we're born, because we can do it. Even though a lot of people may do the same thing, but there's no one that can do it the way that you can. And your fabric, your taste, the way that you deliver, the way that you construct it is what someone else is needing. You're the answer to their prayer. So that's when I think about purpose, that's what pretty much comes to mind for me. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that the reason why I think I got my glasses, why I think we are not growing is that we refuse to revoke the permit to our past. And when I say that is that we are so stuck on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, what happened, what didn't happen. Oh, I wish I would have did this and that and then the other. If I wouldn't have went there, this would have never happened. We're stuck on what happened in the past. We're holding on to those things, even when it comes to toxic relationships. You know, you knew the relationship wasn't good for you, but yet you're still holding on, keeping that door open. Just maybe one day, you know, one of those lonely nights, he or she calls or whatever, and they come through. You know, you're refusing to revoke that permit to your past. So it's keeping you in bondage. It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you from moving and elevating to the next level. So that's one reason. Another thing is that we're holding on to grudges. We won't forgive, and forgiveness it goes both ways. We're holding on to grudges for maybe something that happened to us from someone that promised to be there for an example, a parent, a mother, father, a family member, or a relationship with a friend, whatever. So any type of relationship, you know, you're holding on to that grudge and you're refusing to forgive. And that forgiveness, you're refusing to forgive them for whatever that they done or did to you, or said or did not do for and to you. And then you're refusing to forgive yourself for whatever reason. You know, like I said, you hold on to these, if I should have went here, if I would have went to school earlier, if I would have just got that degree earlier, or had I would have listened to my parents and told, and you know, if I wouldn't have had my kids so young, maybe I could have did this. You know, if I didn't get caught up in, you know, the wrong thing, and now I got this thing on my record and it's hard to get a job, all these shit, you know, forgive yourself for that. Because the thing is that when you do that and you're holding on, it's too heavy for you to bear. It's too heavy for you to carry that load. So you need to forgive them. And then if it's hard, because forgiveness is hard, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, you know, people mistreat us, do things, and sometimes we mistreat and do things to ourselves. It's hard to forgive because it's like we're giving them the okay, that it was okay for you to treat me that way. But really, forgiveness it takes away that load, it takes away that heaviness, it takes away that weight, it takes away that ball and chain that's carrying you around for years. Because 9 times out of 10, that person is going on with their life, you know, doing them, living their lives or whatever, and you're still holding on to that hurt. And if it's hard for you, I would strongly suggest that you just really just get in prayer, get you some people that you can talk to, that you can really be vulnerable with and open up about what it is that's hurting you, so you can heal that thing from the roots. Not just the surface, say, oh, I'm going to forget about it, I'm suppressing. Don't do that. That's not healthy. You need to get it out so that you can cleanse yourself from that and you can be free, because that heaviness is weighing you down and it's keeping you stuck. So that's number 2, is that we refuse to revoke the permit to our past. Let it go. You know, like I said, easier said than done. I would suggest that you get you a godly community that can pray and can help you deal with whatever issue that it is that you're going through, so that you can forgive and move on. Because you should not never let any situation, let anybody that in your past have that much control over you and your presence, because it's blocking you from your future. So that's one thing you need to do. You really need to let that go. So number 3 is that a lot of us, we rebuke correction, we refuse accountability, and we convert constructive criticism to saying that someone's hating on us. And what I mean by rebuke correction is that, you know, we don't like to be corrected, because especially if we feel that we got it all together, even though deep down inside we know that we don't like correction, and we don't like criticism. We think that every time someone says something about us, or they're trying to correct it, and it could be coming from a place of love, like, hey, you know, you're being a little too lazy, you're lacking off, you know, you're not supposed to be operating down here when I see your potentials up here. You need to do better. You need to let him or her go. They're holding you down. They're keeping you stuck, you know, those things, you know, even when it comes to a job, you know, hey, you know, I understand that, you know, you're working this job, but I just know that you can do so much better. Or how about, why won't you apply for this position within the company? So what if you don't have the degree or the requirements? Just do it anyway, because I see greatness in you. I see leadership in you. You know, we don't want to take that type of correction. We don't want to receive it, because now it's really hurting us. And the reason why it's hurting us and it's wounding us is because the worst thing we want is for someone to call us out on our BS or our flaws. And when someone sees that, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I've been exposed, we don't like it. Or even when they come at us and it's kind of harsh, and correcting us in love, and they're saying stuff like, you know, you shouldn't do that, or I wouldn't have bought that with that right now, I would have saved, and this, that, and the other. And the first it's like, oh, now she's hating, or now he's hating, or whatever. You know, in most cases, if they're your friend and they really have your best interest at heart, they're not hating on you. What they're doing is that they're trying to correct you in love, because they see what you won't see, or they're calling you out on your BS because they want to see you strive higher, and you're just playing the field. So that's number 3. I just think is that we don't and then we don't want to take accountability for our actions. We don't want to take accountability that, you know, we're lazy sometimes. We don't want to take accountability that, you know, opportunities were presented to us, but we failed, we dropped the ball. We want to play the blame game. It's easier to point the finger than to take accountability for what we did or did not do, and that's the reason why we're stuck. So that's number 3. So number 4 is that is the reason why I think a lot of us are stuck and we can't grow, is that we lack confidence and we lack faith. We don't have a lot of faith. We don't believe in what we know in our heart to be true. We don't believe that we can own a multi-million-dollar company. We don't believe that, you know, we can sell out arenas everywhere. We don't believe that we can start our own business, write that book, you know, produce that movie, that film. We don't believe it. Yeah, it's good, and we know that's the vision. We know that could very well be our purpose, you know, but we lack confidence, and we don't have the faith because we don't see it. We don't see how in the world can a person like me, from my background and my stature, how can I have a multi-million-dollar company? We don't have faith in that because we don't see it. And that's what faith is. You know, you don't have to see it. You just have to believe it and know it within yourself and act up on it. Meaning that if you put your best foot forward, you'll be surprised how God will connect you with someone who wants to invest in your vision, who wants to invest in your dreams. You just never know. No strings attached. But you have to have enough faith and self-confidence to know that, okay, even though it doesn't look like I can or I'm going to do it, I'm going to try. And you will be surprised if it's your purpose, it's going to manifest itself. So that's what I think. Number 4 is that we don't believe, and we don't have a lot of faith in our abilities and what we are pretty much called to do. So we just play it safe in our comfort zone, and we don't step out on faith and do it. So that's number 4. And number 5, and I think it's very important to me, you know, we all have our different beliefs and things like that, and it is what it is. But as for me, I think a reason why a lot of us stay stuck is that we don't have a intimate relationship with God. You know, we don't depend on Him to reveal to us things. We don't go to Him when we have doubt or we're losing direction. We don't want to step out there on faith because we're not quite sure if this is what it is. But having that intimate relationship with Christ and prayer and meditation and just sitting sometimes and just listen, He will direct you on where you need to go, and He will open these doors for you so that you can walk through it. And I'm just not just speaking off of something I read or whatever, but this is for me personally. You know, I never thought that I would be in positions where I've been in for these last, starting this year, you know, and even with me trying to do some of the things that I have my hands in. I never thought like, whoa, you know, me out of all people, no, that couldn't be. But because I was just like, okay, God, you know, not my will but yours. You show me how, and if you lead me, I'll follow. I'm just going to step out there on faith. And even if I do fail, and even if I do lose, I'm going to lose gracefully. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and see, did I actually hear this right? Did I actually do this right? Or whatever. But I'm not going to get to the point where I'm going to give up and just lay dormant and just let life go on before me. I'm going to keep my eyes stayed on the prize, stay focused, and know that I'm in control of this, that I can do this. And the only way that for me that I can do that is I know that I have to have a relationship with Christ. I have to depend on his strength to strengthen me where I'm feeling weak, or I feel like I can't do it. Because if not, for me, what will happen is that I will stay stuck. I will stay boxed in. I will stay cuffed, and I will walk around forever just going through life, robotic motions of getting up every day, doing this, doing that, but there's no purpose there. There's no substance there. I'm not feeding anything. I'm not going to birth anything, you know, because I'm not willing to push through those hard times. So having that relationship with him has really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and have also placed a godly community around me to where if I'm feeling some type of way, I'm okay with going to someone, my friend, or a relative or something I'm really close with that knows me, and say, hey, you know, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I'm dealing with, or this is what I'm feeling, this is what, you know, and they have some way, somehow he ends up weaving that thing to where it's working out in my favor. So each time, even though I may not physically see it, but spiritually and emotionally, I am emotionally, I'm growing in wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and I'm getting this, and with that is coming peace, and it's giving me a clearer vision so that I can start aiming strategically for my purpose and continue to walk this thing out with, even if distractions come or storms do come, I'm still able to do that. So I just want to encourage you that if you are in that category, or if you do feeling as if like this is the end all be all to what I see, I just want to let you know that it's not. Get into your purpose, get into your calling, and work that thing. So what if it doesn't look like it's going to happen? So what if you made several attempts and it failed? Go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, God did not put us here to do this thing called life alone. And I'm not solely speaking of a significant other, you know, your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife, or whatever. But I'm speaking that, you know, we need to have people that's going to hold us accountable. We need to have someone that's going to be like, okay, I see you're messing up right here, so you need to kind of straighten it up. And then when they give us this constructive criticism and love, we need to on the back end be mature in receiving it and say, hey, you know, you're right. Prime example, my friend, I was telling her, like, this last month in this class that I was taking, I was kind of lacking. I was getting the work done, the grades was there, but I was procrastinating. So it's kind of like, you know, she called me out on it, like, you know what, you need to do better. You got to get yourself together. You need to get, and exactly how she gave it to me. You need to get yourself together, because this little breeze that you got going on, you're gonna crash, and you're gonna find yourself stuck to a point where you're not gonna be able to come out, because that's what you're used to. And as hard as it was for me to receive it, I had to really just be a big girl and say, hey, you know, at the end of the day, even though I didn't want to hear that, I was like, she right. I need to get myself together. I need to plan and execute things on a timely fashion. So because by me being a mother of 3, things happen, and things happen. You can't really depend on that time that you allocated for studying or for presenting a project and things like that. So when I have that window of freedom, that's when I need to tackle that thing. So I think that it's very important. But you know, I know I ran it a little bit, but that's just to give you an example. You know, when I speak about these things, there is stuff that I'm going through myself, and I just want to be a blessing to someone else, because I'm like, if I'm going through it or dealing with it, clearly someone else has to probably be struggling with it, or experience it, or whatever. So what I'm going to do as I encourage myself is that I'm going to encourage you, and I'm just telling you that to Do not give up on your dreams, on your purpose, on your calling. If you don't know what that thing is, I strongly advise that you just seek God and ask him to reveal it to you. And to me, I personally believe that 9 times out of 10, we know what it is that we're supposed to be doing. It's just that we probably don't want to accept the calling of it. Some of us are supposed to be teachers. Some are supposed to be, doing different things. And it's not necessarily in a particular field that, that you're supposed to be in as far as a career-wise, even though that's part of it. But your purpose could just be someone who has exercising your gift of generosity. You are a giver, exercising other gifts that he's given to you. You are you can pray your way through stuff, through things for yourself and for people. Those are gifts. We need to exercise those things, even where you are, even though you see yourself supposed to be in a Fortune 500 company, making business plans and coming up with these strategies that are from out of nowhere to help build this company. Do it right here where you're at, the little office job that you're at now, or even if you're on a janitorial staff, it doesn't matter. Start acting as if, live your life like you have it and work hard until you get it. And I live by that, and it's like, start practicing and orchestrating your craft now, because when it do come, it'll be smooth sailing. So I'm not going to rant too long, but I just wanted to share that with you. Like I said, I was in prayer, meditation, and God placed that on my heart. So he was just telling me that these are some of the reasons why some of us land dormant. And like the same things that I'm telling you, I take for myself, and I am exercising them daily because I want to be better. I don't want to be the same Courtney that I was a month ago. I don't want to be the same Courtney that I was a week ago. But I know that if I don't, I can pray all day and I can name it and claim it and I can do all these other things. But if I don't exercise the gifts and exercise the strength that he has given me to birth my vision and my purpose, it's just going to be a fantasy. And I can dream all day and it'll never come true. But I have to work on it. And that goes for you too. So whatever it is that God's placed on your heart to do, do it. I don't care what the financial status looks like. I don't care what walk of life you come from. Just do it, because when I tell you, he will position you to where people will pour into you. And I'm a living witness of this. They will pour into you, and it's not just financially, but position you to where you can let your light shine. I'm telling you, it's a blessing. So I hope you take all this with love, and like I said, if this is you and you find yourself in that situation, do something about it. It doesn't have to always be this way. Birth your vision. Stop staying stuck. Stop feeling stuck. Work on your mental state. If you have something that's going on emotionally, work on that thing. Pluck these things out from its roots so it won't continue to keep growing and fester year after year after year. Because sometimes we find ourselves keep experiencing the same thing in this particular season. This always happens to me. Every time this come around, this always happen. Go to God and ask God to reveal to you what it is that you're doing, not doing. Is it something that you need to let go of, walk away from, let go of that past, or forgive, so this thing won't keep coming up? Because obviously there's a lesson that needs to be learned there, and you have not mastered it. So that's why it keeps presenting itself. But to say all that, to say this, just to continue to keep pushing forward. And I'll continue to keep praying for you all. You pray for me. And remember that continue to put yourself in a position so that you can be can birth these visions that God has placed on your heart to do. And remember to love yourself, to know that you deserve the best. Self-love is truly the best love.